Just when I'm thinking it's over or I'm done, I get a notification and I'm not. So, okay, remember I told y'all about I study nanotechnology, the CRISPR trials, and DARPA, and I've been doing this for a while now. So, long time ago, I learned about smart dust and I learned about nanotechnology, and um, I watched a video from Elder, and it went into the mRNA being in the weather. That I was talking about that as well, and he also went into that, and he went into how it's in the shot. Here's a video proving us both right that we knew exactly what we're talking about. Because not only is it in the weather, in the rain and cloud seeding, but it's also in the shot. I'm going to show you what, because when you say something, people be like, well, how are little robots attaching their cells to our DNA molecules? Like, you about to see what we've been saying, because you got to have visuals. So let's go. See these little things right? I'm going to get into that video after I leave this video. Because that's what these things be doing. Self-assembling.
A brand new study which was
Let's go. Commercials muted. That's how they get ya. That's how they get ya. Get your own commercial. Next thing you know, you're being copyrighted. Retarded.
Brand new study which was just published looked at the contents of a certain medical procedure. And in this study, the authors claim to have found artificial nanostructures.
Let's read it for ourselves. Let's say protective effect from the aggressively marked products. The contents of blank injectables were examined under a stereoscopic microscope at up to 400 times magnification. Carefully preserved specimens were cultured in a range of distinct media to observe immediate and long-term cause and effect relationships between the injectables and living cells under carefully controlled conditions. From such research, reasonable inferences can be drawn about observed injuries worldwide that have occurred since the injectables were pressed upon billions of individuals. In addition to cellular toxicity, our findings revealed numerous blank on the order of 3, whatever that line is, 4 times 10, 6 carried to 10 to 6 power. That's what that means. Per milliliter of the injectable, visible, looks like a pin drop. Visible artificial self-assembling entities ranging from about 1 to 100. I don't know if that's an M or a P or greater, of many different shapes. Visible artificial self-assembling entities ranging from 1 to 100 different shapes. There were animated worm-like entities, disc, chain, spiral tube, right angle structures containing artificial entities within them. This is crazy. Wow. All these are exceedingly beyond any expected and acceptable levels of contamination of the blank injectables. I want to say mRNA. And incubation studies revealed that the progressive self-assembly of many artificial structures as the time progressed during incubation, simple 1 and 2 dimensional structures over 2 or 3 weeks became more complex in shape and size, developing into stereotypical visible entities in 3 dimensions. They're getting bigger. They're growing. They resemble carbon nanotube filaments, ribbons, and tape worm looking like things, appearing as transparent, thin, flat membranes, and others. That's some clots that be in the SHOT, but they're really nanotechnology parasitic worm, nano self-assembling parasitic worms that are attaching themselves to your DNA. That's gonna kill you and choke your blood out. Ribbons, tapes, transparent flat thin membranes, and others as three-dimensional spirals and beaded chains. Some of these seem to appear and then disappear over time. Our observations suggest that the presence of some kind of nanotechnology in the COVID-19 injectable. Did you? I don't even gotta say it. What happened? What? 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 That's a lot of pages. Okay, let's keep going. Cause I ain't saying nothing.
Which they refer to as self-assembling nanostructures, which look like this. Now, these were only found in the mRNA-containing ones, and the shapes range from crystals, filaments, spirals, all the way to nanotubes. We found that the shape of these changed over time and were particularly responsive to external electromagnetic fields. But before you get excited, there are some serious problems with this study. First up, there's no publicly available ORCID record for this researcher, so we don't know if she's published anything in the past and what training she has. Next, she's a gynecologist, and whilst that might not necessarily be a problem, we really want this study being done by molecular biologists who have the resources and the tools at their disposal.
Okay, first of all, remember when Nicki Minaj said that her cousin got the SHOT and his how do I say this? I'm just gonna say it. His nutsack grew to like the size of a cantaloupe. So if he got that and his balls blew up to the size of a cantaloupe, then why couldn't a gynecologist have peeped this before? Like, it's having an effect on the sperm in his sex. So his sperm is being choked out and killed by the SHOT, and the nanobots is killing the sperm. This has got his thing all blew up. It's swollen. So who cares on where the information came from? She wasn't even a gynecologist peeped that y'all was up to some grimy shit and that it was nanobots in the mRNA shot.
To be able to make sure this was a valid study.
But let's
Next
go.
up, the lab isn't registered from anywhere that I can see, and therefore we have no way of knowing that it's actually a sterile environment. What this means is that the things that we're looking at right here could simply be artifacts. With that in mind, whilst I'm not a scientist, I think we have to be very, very cautious about these results. But even if we discover the study is bunk, you might not know that there are numerous other accounts. We're talking like more than 40 or 50 individual accounts of scientists with genuine expertise in the field who have found something very similar. They found 3D nanostructures in the shots, and some authors have speculated or said that they closely resemble carbon nanofibers and might be graphene oxide. Since graphene oxide was definitely not on the ingredients list, you might be wondering what the hell it was doing in there. And you might be amazed to hear what the science actually says about this. Let's just say that reality is much stranger than fiction these days. And if you don't believe me, just check this out. It turns out that scientists have been working with graphene oxide for a very long time, particularly in the context of micro and nano robots. Now, you might be wondering,
everybody said I was crazy when I started going into the CRISPR trials and I started talking about how smart does and how nanobites, they have little tiny robots the size of a freaking blood cells that attach themselves to your DNA and kill it or change the construct or makeup of your blood, or give you a disease that is contoured and tailored only to take out certain cells in your blood and kill you that way. It's called a blood-borne disease through nanotechnology. And everybody was like, oh, you tripping. Oh, how you know about that? How you know? What you talking about? That's what I've been talking about this is what my YouTube channel has been dedicated to. Besides, well, it ain't been dedicated to it, but it's damn sure been dedicated to exposing Esau's ass. I'll tell you that. And this comes with it.
basically tiny little machines, pieces of technology.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
invisible to the naked eye. You cannot see this. But these things can be implanted into the body.
How?
Either by injection, inhalation,
What?
or even through the gut. Now, they can be
Through the gut, which you eat, you breathe contaminated, whether we eat contaminated food, and they want to stick a SHOT in us, in our blood. I'm like, it feels so good to be vindicated. Like, I'm not crazy. I told you. Now listen.
To achieve certain effects. This can be on organs, on tissues, or even specific cells. So for drug delivery, for altering gene expression, they have to be driven or powered by some kind of external energy source.
Biological
this can be body heat, it can be UV light, but a lot of the research is looking at external magnetic fields to power these things. And they can be used as what are called biosensors, so they can receive information from external sources or from internal sources, and then they can transmit that information. Think of it a little bit like a chip or like a tiny Wi-Fi router, which is in the cells, and it can literally absorb radiation and transmit information to external sources as well.
So basically, it is a robotic parasite. Not only do you have demonic parasites living in you, now they want to give you some more parasites in your ass with robots attached to them that'll take your blood out and take you out from the inside out. And they want to put the little robots in you. And whatever they got going on outside here through weather manipulation and magnetic fields and just all this tech, they can control or kill you and take you out like that as well. Through the environment. And you got the robots in you. Through the SHOT.
On this topic, you can see from this paper, these researchers recently developed a remote-controlled probe which was able to target specific cells. And it just so happens that graphene oxide is one of the key materials that they use for these nano-type robots. The field of research is more widely known as nanorobotics. It forms the basis of what is now called the Internet of Bio-Nano Things. You think of this as essentially a form of transhumanism. The Internet of Bio-Nano Things is envisioned to be a heterogeneous network of nanoscale and biological devices, so-called bio-nano things, communicating via non-conventional means. So this is molecular communications in non-conventional environments, e.g. inside the human body. The main objective of this emerging networking framework is to enable direct and seamless interaction with biological systems for accurate sensing and control of their dynamics in real time. That means using nanorobots to control living systems, i.e. the human body.
Parasites.
Okay? Of course, this new frontier of technology has been framed as a medical breakthrough which will revolutionize treatment of chronic disease.
Robotic parasites. Because the regular demons that's in your ass and the worms, that's just not good enough. No, we want to put nanobites in you. Little robots. That.
However, it's important to realise that this hasn't just garnered interest from within the medical field. In fact, the key players who are funding this research include the likes of DARPA and other military intelligence agencies. And when you hear what they want to use it for, well, that's where I'm going to end this video on this platform. Like I said,
he don't even want to talk about it. He don't want to talk about what they making the nanobites do to your blood. But I'm going to talk about it, though. Bam, right here. Let's talk about it. Here they go. Look at little robots. Little nanobites in your blood. Look at them. They look like fleas. Esau want to give you the heebie-jeebies. Okay? That's what he want to do. In real time. He want to give you the heebie-jeebies. Him and Billy Goat Gates and Anthony Fauci want to inject your ass with pestilence. As if you don't have enough pestilence or problems going on your everyday life, they want to inject you with more pestilence. If we continue to go down the rabbit hole of nanotechnology, I'm going to scare people. Okay, look. It looked like a sperm.
Now, the other part that I wanted to mention about this, if you're aware of self-assembling nanotechnology.
Remember when I just told y'all about the them putting the parasitic reptilian thing in your eye, the parasite in your brain. It goes through your left eye, chill up your cerebral cortex to your pineal gland, and you're controlled like that, right? Right? This way, but in this account, in order to get it in everybody without freaking everybody out, putting worms in their eye, parasites, they want to inject it into you. Your hand, your arm, like that. And that's it right there. Sperm and self-assembling nanotechnology. Parasite.
You can see a comparison here in nature, because this is really brilliant self-assembling technology. We never really have completely figured out how this little sperm goes in this egg, and then everything just starts growing from there, like it knows what blocks to build, where to put them, and where. Of course, that's based on your DNA. It's like a blueprint, right? Tells everything what it needs to do. But it's still self-assembling technology. These elements that are contained in the egg all come together and join with this sperm to make the body. And it continues to build as it gets the materials, and as the time is right, it's programmed when to construct. Like when a they lose their baby teeth, all right? It's usually all around the same time. It's like a program. It's intelligent design. It's brilliant.
A parasite. It is a parasite. What is this? Y'all go into this, man. Go ahead. Go into this and see. Go into this and see. Okay? You'll see. That's all I have. Shalom.